my baby boos out there. I'm your goddess Nazca here with Chuckama. We're reacting to...
Something about Charlie. I haven't heard anything on this.
Yeah, Rev is talking about something going on with Charlie, and I'm curious. It came out like 5 hours ago yesterday.
Yesterday.
Here. So today we're going to be talking about the crazy Moist Critical situation. I'm sure pretty much everybody watching this video has come across Moist Critical at one point or another in your journey on YouTube. But one thing that is very rare, despite the countless topics he's talked about, is situations where people are trying to cancel him.
Oh, okay, it's gonna be one of those kind of things. So the same stuff that's going on with Kirsha goes on with Nux, where they want to cancel him. What do they want to cancel him for this time?
For being base?
A sellout. Yeah. You think?
On my own channel, I think there's been maybe one situation where people were trying to do that, and it was like by proxy in a situation he really wasn't involved in. But anyways, today there is a very recent push to cancel Moist Critical, and it comes from a video he made about 3 weeks ago that personally flew under my radar. I didn't even know he made the video on the subject, and I saw this post yesterday from Kazahana pointing out that people on TikTok were trying to cancel Moist Critical for his comments about Charlie Kirk. Now, this is the video in particular. As you can see.
So, what, did he say something insensitive about Charlie Kirk or something? Or...
No, I thought he was talking about the shooter. Because look, they caught the shooter.
Okay.
He released a video about 3 weeks ago, shortly after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, that was fueled by political violence. And he made a very bold statement in the video that political violence is always wrong, despite even differences you have with their opinion.
Oh my god, these people are fucking retarded.
Are you... They're just grasping at straws at this point to just try to find something, and it's the most stupidest things. The most just common sense kind of things when someone says political violence is never okay. And then you just have to go insane because someone says that when it's true. Violence is never okay to begin with. At all. So, yeah, no. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard for someone attacking someone for saying.
That does not justify it. Now, if you've been watching Moist Critical, I'm sure you probably weren't too surprised by that, but there was a noticeable portion of his audience that was very angry about this. You can see the like to dislike ratio, and this is not some iDubbbz video where he's, tanking a 50-50 ratio, but most of Moist Critical's videos have like a 99% like to dislike ratio, so having this sort of a proportion, about a 10% dislike ratio, that's pretty significant. And I say this not in a mocking fashion, but his audience is kind of known for being normies. And you see this reaction from a notable portion of his audience who are very upset about his message. And that, I think, is pretty alarming. So let's listen to what he said in this video.
Alarming.
And what will be shown in the TikTok where we see the most unhinged reactions.
I hate these people.
But this definitely does seem to be a politically motivated assassination. Which, if you ask me, is a horrible thing. And my heart breaks for the family that is now without a father.
Oh, I see what these people are talking about now that they're being like this. Because every time I hear about people talking about this, they're talking about how the shooter was a Republican or something.
Yeah, but he's not.
I know. That's the annoying thing. He had all the... his political view doesn't really matter in the fact of how he grew up. He grew up in a Republican home base. That's what we know. But when you look at his actions, what he does, who he hangs out with and stuff, you can tell he is not right-leaning at all. The fact that he felt like he had to do this is disgusting.
He was dating a trans gay furry. Need I say more?
Yeah. That is not something...
I think it is.
That is not a thing that someone from the right would do. So they're just trying to justify saying, oh, it's just in killing or something. But no, this guy clearly was not politically on the right side, despite the way he grew up. So yeah, no, that makes so yeah, I would totally agree, especially with like the bullet casings they showed and junk and talked about. The whole thing's stupid. I could agree with what Charlie said here about it being politically motivated, because even if he's not, like, even if, for me, I don't know this guy's political beliefs, but all I can tell you is how he acts and stuff. That is not someone that is not a person who would be a conservative would act. I don't know. It's baffling. It's baffling. If anything, at best, he had no political affiliation. At best, but he was definitely not right leaning.
You want this Broly statue?
Oh yeah, it looks
Bad.
really cool.
I know.
God, I
Classic
can't even
Charles with a
explain
grass is
this.
green take. So let me be crystal clear here. I think the assassination of Charlie Kirk, everything that happened here is horrible.
Yes.
I think it is horrific.
Yes.
Awful. I think it is
Yes.
terrible. And I'm aware that some people have been celebrating this. I find that to be disgusting. Of course,
Yes.
after all this happened, I did see a bunch of the clips that people were tossing around from like his talks or from debates, and it's things I don't agree with for sure. But even still, what
Yeah, how is that? People who celebrated this, how is that not just something full of hate? I mean, come on, just turn it around. Turn it around. Say, what would you say? You would say the exact same thing if someone, say, assassinated someone like, say, a Kamala Harris or
Yeah.
something.
Or
Do you would you be like, oh, it's okay, you these people can celebrate something like that? No, it's not okay. I don't care how much you disagree with the person. I don't care if you do not believe in what they believe in. I don't care if it's like, I don't know. It's probably there's a lot of stuff. Okay, there's a because then we could get it. Sorry, but then we could get into this whole thing. I was like, oh, when you celebrate killing a murderer and stuff, that's different. That's different. Charlie Kirk never murdered anyone. He would just spoke his mind.
Ron's never the answer. People celebrating Charlie Kirk, same people that celebrated October 7th. Yeah.
there is bad. Even though I didn't agree with
That's
him
just pure
from all the
hatred.
things I have seen, it still doesn't change the way I feel about this being a horrifying, terrible thing that happened to him. Political violence or violence of any kind like this, I think, is
Yes.
unacceptable, and it's extremely
It's
scary.
not.
So yeah, pretty simple stuff. He said, despite even not agreeing with things that Charlie Kirk has said, I condemn political violence. It's horrible, and if you disagree
On
with that
both
point,
sides.
you are simply wrong. And that made people very angry. Now, most of the top comments are positive on YouTube, but if you're refreshed by new, it's very unhinged. Okay, people are still seething about it every couple of minutes on this video, despite the fact it's been out for weeks. But this is the TikTok that was mentioned earlier in the video, and this is someone who shared that message 3 weeks ago, and the
Well, it's
comments on
TikTok,
this
what you
are
expect.
Yeah.
insane. And it shows you
Yeah, that's true too. People who celebrating, the October 7th incident, that's disgusting. That's something that should never have happened.
the kind of radicalization going on places like TikTok. So one
They
of
were
the
just
top
innocent
comments right
people
here
at a
begins by
festival.
saying, conservatives, kids being killed today with no regard. Charlie Kirk being killed today. And all of a sudden now they've awakened. And of course, you can see someone saying, not a conservative, but do you spend every waking minute feeling sorry for all the kids who you don't know who have passed away? And the person who made the original post said, yes. So this person is trying to convince you that you are bad if you don't spend every waking minute of your existence mourning over the deaths of others. Like, this is the kind of...
Okay. So it's one thing when you die of like natural causes and stuff. I mean, there's also like people on the other side of the world and stuff that are suffering because of like homelessness, starvation and stuff. There's not much anyone can do about that. But a murder is something that can really just I mean, you can try. You can try to help other people, but where does your donations do? You don't know where your donations are going. Everything's depressing, okay? Everything in humanity is depressing. Every last bit. You can cry over deaths on both sides. The death is horrible. That's something that I agree with, like what Trump says. I just want people to stop dying.
Yeah.
Stretch Armstrong level reach
So many
that they're
people
trying
has,
to make.
lost faith
They're
in
basically
humanity,
saying
yeah.
you're not allowed to mourn an individual's death if you're not mourning other people's deaths every waking minute of your life. And that's not an exaggeration. They said every waking minute of your life. That's the kind of people we're dealing with here. Here's one with a lot of support saying, explaining to people that murder is wrong in the Big 25. We are doomed as a society. Now,
Yeah.
I noticed that this one, for example, has 8,000 likes. I saw this TikTok yesterday, and I think the new traffic on it has boosted a lot of the positive comments, because a lot of these had a fraction of the likes that they do now, but we have...
The scariest thing out there is like when people like have these death threats to like Rev, death threats to Kirsha, death threats to Nux, probably even to Charlie. It's just because of them speaking their minds. And maybe like for example, like me, I don't have the best kind of like ways to express myself that well because I have my own like disability and junk and blah 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 blah. But you just say one thing wrong and all of a sudden you're like a witch in the Salem trials. God, I can't speak.
Another one saying Moist Critical greater than vanilla. I think that was another content creator who had a different take on the Charlie Kirk assassination. This person saying killing someone for a different opinion is peak fascism. 100% right. Do you understand how many people have called me and others who have condemned political violence over the past couple of weeks fascists for doing so?
Yeah.
Ending someone because they
Make
have a
up of
different
huggies.
political opinion than you is the literal definition of fascism. That is...
Well, one that's always going to talk about. Oh, it's just more crazy comments. So that's basically what it was.
I guess so. So people attack Charlie due to him being based and saying that political violence is wrong.
Yeah, you want to end the video here?
Too depressing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us for this. Just remember, be nice to each other. Does it really matter what others believe in as long as we're all human here? Right?
Yeah. Alright, what is it? Oh, you want
Thank you all for joining me. Please like, subscribe, and comment. It would make me very happy. Kiss, kiss,